Welcome to the JTV Caribbean News. I am Sean Rose. Cayman Islands Cabinet has given its approval, and now the country is moving full steam ahead with plans for the largest infrastructure project in its history. But before dredging begins in Georgetown Harbor to build a $189 million cruise berthing facility, questions remain surrounding its design and financing. Cayman 27 Joe Avery reports.
I'm pleased to confirm that yesterday, Cabinet formally approved the cruise berthing facility recommendations.
Almost a month after Premier Alden McLaughlin announced government was pushing ahead with plans to build a cruise berthing facility in Georgetown, Cabinet has formally given its approval.
We realize that we have spent 40 years building an important cruise tourism economic driver, and we are duty-bound to ensure that we do not sit still and allow it to move to Cuba or other destinations in the region.
Tourism Minister and Deputy Premier Moses Kirkconnell says Cabinet engaged in vigorous discussion, poring over 10 reports.
Several major factors have been taken into account in weighing the benefits to the country.
This will mean real, tangible opportunities for Caymanian businesses.
7 Mile Beach!
The Premier pointed to the hundreds of tour and taxi operators who stand to benefit from the port, as well as the 500 jobs expected to be created over the 3-year construction period. As to the design, that's still up in the air.
I don't think that it was ever intended that that design that they produced and put out was the final drawing or design.
Mr. Kirkconnell says engineers are tweaking the project design to minimize environmental impacts, while his ministry is working on a finance arrangement with the cruise lines.
Looking to the future, I am confident that this decision will grow our business environment, and over the longer term, it will enhance and sustain the cruise tourism industry for the Cayman Islands.
Joe Avery, Cayman 27.
The U.S. Virgin Islands has announced that its hotel room tax will increase to 12.5% from 10%, a 25% increase. U.S. Virgin Islands Governor Kenneth Mapp signed the increase into law earlier this month, promising to help use the funds, in part, to develop sports tourism in the USVI, particularly horse racing. According to Caribbean Journal, Governor Mapp said, quote, "We have the ability to make the Virgin Islands the center of horse racing in the Caribbean, and we will expand our Paradise Jam basketball tournaments by offering monetary prizes to the winning men's and women's teams," unquote. He added that the USVI is providing monetary support to send their interscholastic high school teams to compete outside the U.S. Virgin Islands in the BVI and Puerto Rico, as well as host teams from those jurisdictions. The tax increase will take effect January 2016. The USVI's hotel room tax is 12.5% of the gross room rental, meaning it includes the gross room rate plus any additional charges, such as energy surcharges and maintenance fees. The tax applies to every guest that resides in a hotel, villa, timeshare, inn, or any other sleeping accommodation for less than 90 days. Martinique has the highest rate of prostate cancer in the world. The results of a recent study conducted by the World Cancer Research Fund International has revealed the startling facts. More in this report from HTS News Force.
The recent statistics from the World Cancer Research Fund International on the prevalence of cancer in neighboring Martinique are shocking. According to the fund, for every 100,000 men on the neighboring French island, 227 have prostate cancer. Martinique is followed by Norway, which clocks in 129 cases of prostate cancer to every 100,000 men. Dominica and Trinidad and Tobago also ranked in the top 5 countries with the most diagnosed cases of prostate cancer. But why Martinique? Doctors have deduced the high rate of prostate cancer is linked to the pesticides like those used in the cultivation of bananas. To put it in scientific terms, researchers found an alarming level of DDT, DDE, alpha, beta, and gamma HCH, aldrin, and dieldrin, all carcinogenic, mutagenic, and reproductive toxin pesticides. Here in St. Lucia, the Ministry of Health has continued efforts to sensitize St. Lucian men on the importance of early detection of prostate cancer. Just last week, the Victoria Hospital gave a substantial discount on colonoscopies and endoscopies. Normally, an endoscopy costs around $585 EC and a colonoscopy $885 EC. A colonoscopy is the most effective method utilized by medical professionals to screen for prostate cancer. Experts advise men to undergo a colonoscopy every 10 years. There is also the option of undergoing a virtual colonoscopy, which should be done once every 5 years.
There has been much heated debate in Anguilla over the past several days regarding the Anguilla Public Service Order 2015, which the UK government proposes to enact and wants the Anguilla government to insert some of its stringent requirements into the island's constitution. A key element of the draft order is the proposed imposition of a UK chief financial advisor to sit in the Ministry of Finance with a set of overriding powers supportive of the governor in Anguilla. It is an oversight situation which the Anguilla United Front government is vehemently opposed to and says is being seen as a regressive step for the people of Anguilla. Anguilla's Chief Minister, Victor Banks, stated that the Constitution already provides for the governor to carry out whatever functions are required in emergency situations, and it is their view that there is no need for any specific provisions to be placed in Anguilla's Constitution further than that. Chief Minister Banks stressed that the draft order was not something brand new and was discussed with former Chief Minister Hubert Hughes in 2012. FCO Minister Tim Colley presented a revised alternative draft to the new government during a visit to Anguilla on October 5th. And finally, in this week's Caribbean News segment, countries of the Caribbean Community CARICOM were among the 191 nations calling for an end to the decades-old U.S. trade embargo on Cuba as the United States adopted the resolution for a 24th consecutive year. By a vote of 191 in favor of 2 against Israel and the United States, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution renewing its call for an end to the economic, commercial, and financial blockade imposed by the U.S. against Cuba, while also acknowledging the restoration after nearly 50 years of diplomatic relations between the two countries. For the JTV Caribbean News segment, I am Sean Rose.
And coming up next on JTV News, Rotary Club of Road Town celebrates the eradication of polio in Nigeria with the BVI Nigerian Association. 2 young entrepreneurs motivate BVI youth at ECAM's Kidpreneur. And marking 3 years since it opened, the Autism Center is now the Disability Services Division in the Social Development Department.